Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Yesterday I was really looking forward to when I saw the trailer of Carly and Tracy going in on Carly and her history and everything. I was really looking forward towards that. And then I watched it today, and I'm going to be honest, it made completely no sense whatsoever. Here's the thing. I get that soap operas, they don't always follow a certain sense of logic, and I get that. Sometimes I can struggle with it because I'm a man of logic, and I need things to make some sort of sense. And I've been sitting there saying in my live streams, I've been saying it in the last couple of videos, that what Tracy's doing is not really making sense, right? And you can see it in today's episode. We know why it's not making any sense, but I'll explain later on. Carly's like, listen, we need to sit there and give Willow back her kids. And so that way, Willow can let us see Michael and we can sit there and get him, some better treatment, because we have more resources than, we have more resources than she does. And this is the best option for Michael at this point. Now, you would think that at some level, this would make sense to Tracy. Now, Tracy has been pig-headed for a hot minute. And maybe on some level, I understand why she said no to Sunny, right? I mean, it's still kind of stupid, but I get Sunny's presence is just irritating to her. I don't, I think that Carly could have did a better job as far as explaining why. Like, hey, listen, she has an in as far as this whole burn clinic that can really sit there and help Michael with his recovery. I don't know why she didn't actually explain the whole thing. Part of me does believe that even if she did, Tracy would have still said no. No, 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 because, Monica wants the kids here and I'm not going to let the kids go. But she just said that she had a better way of trying to help Michael. And at the end of the day, you would think, like Carly said, this is what Monica would want. And she's still being pig-headed. Up until a point, she won't even let Carly sit there and talk to Monica herself. Right? Now, we know that, it wasn't going to be a face-to-face, but they could have did it off-screen. And Carly could have sat there and really explained to Monica why this is so important. But oh, no, no, no. Yuri is not going to sit there and let her go through. And then she just brings up her past history. And Carly's like, okay, yeah, I did that. But this isn't really the time and the place for it. Like, this isn't helping the situation. It's just like, oh, well, I think it does. It really doesn't. Listen, here's the thing. When I bring up Carly's history, when I bring up some of the stuff that she's done, I do it in the sense when I feel like Carly's going to be a hypocrite, right? I don't care if it was 5 months ago or 5 years ago. I will sit there and bring it up because I will sit there and remind people, and I will sit there and talk about how at this present moment that she's being a hypocrite. When Tracy did it, it just didn't make any sense. So it got to the point where Carly's like, you know what, listen, I'm out. And Tracy just stands there and smiles, but there's really nothing to smile about. Like, this is completely stupid. And like I said, the reason why I feel that she's being as pig-headed and stubborn as she is because I guess at the time of filming, Leslie Charles was not exactly in the best of health. And so maybe this is like Tracy's way of being like, oh, I really want to sit there and stand up for her now. And, Monica really wants to be around the kids. Monica would understand. First of all, Monica would understand, you know what, listen, I want to be around the kids and everything like that, but I get it. That's her mother. Tracy, you got to sit there and let this just happen. But because of outside reasons, this is the reason why they are doing this. And it is making zero goddamn sense. Willow is looking at Michael and everything like that and crying and upset and stuff. And part of me's like, you did cheat on him, right? Like, and then there's a point where she's like, I guess when she talks to Nina, she's like, how do we get here? No, no, no. She was with Chase. She was like, how do we get here? I'm like, did you really just ask how you got here? What? See, what fans have been sitting there saying about Willow is that Willow has been listening to Drew, has been listening to Nina, has not been making up her own mind. With Nina, she's like, well, I have to sit there and do this because Drew says it's a good idea and I need leverage and this is the best course of action. And, Nina has been, again, the voice of reason. And Nina's like, listen, you're going to have to sit there and drop this first. And you want this whole thing to end, this war, you got to sit there and be the first person. Willow's like, why should I sit there and kowtow to them? And in a knee-jerk reaction, I can understand that. For a while, this show has, and they've been a little more better, but when I started watching this show, it was about Carly, Jason, and Sonny. And everybody else just felt like extras. So on that level, I can get that knee-jerk reaction, but, then she goes to Ava, and you can already guess how this goes. It's all Drew's fault. Drew has done this. Drew has done that. And just on an overall arc part, because even with Curtis today, it's not just saying, oh well, I would sit there and think you would be doing a better job. And Alexis is not there talking about how Drew's not honoring Sam's wishes, even though she understands. Even though Drew explained to her why, she's like, hey, listen, if he leaves and he goes to DC, I'm gonna fight him. I've never seen on any soap opera where they pretty much kind of set up a character and not an actual villain like, okay, we know that this person is meant to be hated on because they're a villain. But I've never seen an arc where it's like one person is just the bad guy no matter what they do. And it's almost a little kind of I don't want to sit there and say it's kind of discouraging, but it's like every time you watch it, somebody's not just saying Drew has done this, and Drew has done that, and for me, it just starts to get annoying. Not because I necessarily like the character, because I do, but it's just the same goddamn thing where everyone just hates Drew, and it's like I don't know. It just gives you this feeling like you're watching. It's like, oh yeah, I guess they're gonna blame Drew for the ozone layer. Let's see. There's a pothole. I'm pretty sure we can probably blame Drew for that too. Like this sense of it's always Drew's fault. Drew is always the bad guy in everyone's eyes. After a while, it just gets it gets somewhat kind of depressing to watch. It really does. It's like this huge campaign to sit there and paint Drew like he is the ultimate devil. After a while, it just starts to get kind of annoying to watch. Um, off the Chase gave her some sage advice, even though she kind of mirrored what her issue is the same way that Michael did as far as her always needing a savior. And maybe now she can start to just make decisions on her own instead of listening to Nina or listening to Drew or anybody else. Just be like, hey, listen, we just think this out, be rational, and make a decision and not have somebody influence me. Ava gave Nina some sage advice, but it's the same advice that Curtis has given that she refuses to listen to. You want Drew out of Willow's life? Tell the truth. See, this is the problem. It's not just the fact that she blames Drew for everything and doesn't hold Willow accountable for anything, but you have a clear solution to sit there and break those two up, get him away from her, and you're too much of a goddamn coward to do it. See, you're ballsy enough to sit there and yell at Drew. You're ballsy enough to sit there and constantly sit there and blame Drew for something. But you're not ballsy enough to sit there and, tell the truth. So at this point, I just don't care every time she starts whining. Um, I'm also starting to get kind of annoyed with Ava constantly whining about her money problems. Like, I don't care at this point. I really do not care. You know, she keeps whining about some money that she thinks she's entitled to, and she's all, she's talking to Trina, and Trina's not there worried about Kai. I'm gonna be honest, even if Trina was not worried about Kai, I think it would be like day 15, and I just don't care about your money problems. Like, oh, well, I can't do this with the gallery because I don't have the money, and I can't do that. No one cares. Like, stop. But of course, because her mind is somewhere else, Ava's talking to her about Kai, and for some odd reason, Trina wants to downplay her relationship with Kai as far as being friends. And Ava's like, why don't you go and see him? If you're so worried, why don't you go and see him? And I wrote that. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. Why haven't you went to go see him? Well, I texted him, but he didn't answer back. He's in the hospital. What are we doing at this point? But Ava pretty much said, listen, you're not any good to me right here. So you might as well go and see him. Now, Stella went to go see him, and Stella at some point runs across Trina, and Trina tries to make a bunch of excuses not to sit there and see him, but Stella's like, no, go and see him. So they go, they chat. She talks about how she was a fan of the game. She's worried about him, and, just making sure that he's not just putting on a brave face to put on a brave face. He said with his injury, he's probably going to be sticking around PCU a little bit longer so, they can form this romance that half of the fans are very split on. Some people want it, some people don't. I find it very interesting that for a long time, there's been discussions about Trina being with a black man. I generally don't talk about race, but I feel like this is kind of an exception because of the way the fans are so divided. So people, some people have been like, listen, you want Trina with a black man. Why can't Trina be with a black man? The minute that Trina is with a black man, now people are just like, I don't know, because, it's not as good as Spencer. It's like, how do you people wanted that? And you're getting it, and I don't know. I mean, I don't really care about couples in general, but I just find it funny that now the fans that actually wanted it are getting it, and they're still like, like, you got what you wanted. I don't understand what the problem is. Anyway, um, I talked about Alexis, Curtis, which again, here's the devil, and we gotta sit there and take away his child because I don't really know why or care why at this point. Um, Cody has a hangover. As much as I don't like Cody, on some level, I gotta sit there and feel bad for him about that hangover. Because, yeah, it's no joke. I'm literally incapacitated at that point, so yeah. But he does sit there and gives Dante some sage advice, I guess, because Dante's like, he was still thinking about Lou, who should probably go back to sleep for another 2 years, and how she's upset that she felt like Dante bossed the job as far as seeing Charlotte. And at this point, after they talk about Brooklyn, Cody's like, why don't you help Lulu? Instead of that they're trying to take over and say what's best for her, why don't you sit there and try to help her find Charlotte? Now Dante does have some really good advice as far as, hey, listen, I get it, you miss your daughter. But I feel like you also are ignoring your son. Your son has been waiting for you to get out that bed for 5 years. You're globetrotting and running in the hails of bullets and stuff like that when I just got you back. And so it is a little kind of annoying to sit there and watch her be so stubborn and just not give a damn. Um, and then Selena Wu comes in, right? Gio, it's like, hey, listen, somebody wants to see you. Gio was also sitting there working for him because, hangover. Now Selena Wu comes over, and Cody's like, hey, listen, I don't want to bet anymore. I don't want to sit there and go down that dark path. And, Selena's like, okay, all right. And then she leaves, she talks to Gio on the way out. And I'm kind of just like, I don't really understand. You wanted to see her. You got Brad to talk to Selena because she was ignoring your texts. Now she sees you and you're like you don't want to see her. So did you not use some of her money on that bet and you just used all Drew's money, or like what's the case? Did the writer forget about that? Like I'm very confused by that. And I know it's probably a little small detail, but I can't help but think, oh cool, we get to sit there and see Selena. Wait, you didn't borrow money from her? Well then why is she here? Oh, you called her here, but now you don't want to see. Okay. Yeah, that's making sense. Um, let's see what else. And then towards the end, Chase comes to sit there and see Tracy, and he's like, "Hey, listen, you got to stop. You got to let Willow see her kids." Now I'm pretty sure that Tracy's going to sit there and give her the same BS routine that she gave Tracy, that she gave Sunny, that she gave Carly, and there's going to be another scene that is just not going to make any sense. But okay, sure. Also, Brooklyn goes to see Navarro or Nevada, whatever the hell her name is. Um, because she wants some answers and stuff like that, and she does sit there and talk about that she did have a pregnancy and she did, um, full term and healthy and everything like that, and she did give up the baby for adoption. So of course this is more the lore of it's Geo because this is just what the fan theory is going on. That Dante is also the father, and they're going to sit there and just retcon this whole. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't feel like this is a retcon. Somebody said that this is a retcon, but I don't feel like it's a retcon now because we don't really know much about Brooklyn. Yeah, we knew Brooklyn when she first came in, when Carly paid her and everything like that, but we didn't know about Brooklyn before then. No, we didn't know about Dante before then. Dante and Brooklyn has literally just been written in the last couple of 10 something years. But again, this is not, I don't feel like this is a retcon. Now, if you feel like this is a retcon, why don't you sit there and tell me how? Um, anyway, I feel like that's about it. If I missed anything, write in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.